Today on the Gold Standard.
Gold in your possession, Dave, is going to be a lot better than leaving all of your money in the markets or in the banking system. Why is that? Because that's what history tells us, and history does matter. And history is going to repeat itself when it comes to countries failing, when it depends on debt, and when it depends on unlimited money printing, just like other civilizations and other superpowers have failed before.
This is the Gold Standard from Midas Gold Group with Kenneth Russo. Hello, I'm Dave Dino. Welcome to the Gold Standard, your source for secure investment opinion and information on the advantages of purchasing and owning precious metals. Whether you're a novice investor or an experienced collector, this is the program that gives you a realistic weekly perspective on the state of the economy, reliable information about using precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum to safeguard your wealth, and remarkable details about specific precious metal coins and bullion. Ken Russo is a senior vice president at Midas Gold Group, and his peers characterize him as a straight shooter who will work harder for you than anyone else. Ken, it's a pleasure to join you again this week.
Nice to join you as always, Dave. Let the games begin.
Yes, indeed. Our topic is election results and the collapsing economy, part 2. Ken, let's take a moment and let's talk about the economy again, because there's so much going on that we do need to be aware of, and there's so much going on that affects our personal financial security, that affects the value of the dollar that's in our purse or in our billfold. We are hearing more and more and more after the election about what may be coming down the road. I think one of the most disturbing things that I heard after the election was the day after, when President Biden was asked this question. Looking at the election results and the loss of the House, how the voters have spoken, what are you going to do differently in the next 2 years? And Biden's answer was nothing. I'm not going to change anything in our policies. We're going to continue to press ahead with the ideas and the policies that we have been promoting all along. That's very worrisome, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what must have been written on the teleprompter, right? So he had to he had to read it, but yeah, I mean, but what did you expect? An intelligent answer, somebody with business savvy that was actually going to be inspirational and give an answer that we can feel good about and have some faith about? No, I mean, you got exactly what was elected, or what is in the seat at this particular moment, and it's disturbing. But when it comes to our money, how is it that you could feel comfortable about leaving your money invested in all these markets, and our leader says something like that? And I believe him. I believe him, because more than likely that's exactly what's going to be: more of the same, more woke ideas, more spending, more climate control stuff. Unacceptable when it comes to our money, unacceptable on many different levels. But what's concerning, Dave, is protecting our money for this show, and the people who are calling the shots, how they're going to affect our money. And what I would say is, while you still can do it, people, while your money still has some value, while your investments still have some worth, I would strongly consider diversifying, and I would strongly consider getting some stuff out of this system. Like we said before, it's our money, Dave, and it's their system, and they want our money to run their system. And you just heard, and you just said that they're not going to do anything different. Well, in my opinion, everybody who just heard that, that's one reason why they should be doing something today when it comes to protecting their nest egg. I think that that's a no-brainer, Dave.
A reminder here that you're listening to the Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. And our topic today is election results and the collapsing economy, part 2. Ken, something that we have also talked about before, but I want to repeat it again because we may have people listening for the first time, or it just is good to hear it again. Many people are not particularly experienced in the area of precious metals, and a lot of that has to go back to financial advisors because they will shy away from gold and silver and precious metals because they make nothing out of it. It's not to their interest to do so. So the process of actually taking my cash reserves or one of my investment accounts and moving it over into physical gold, that's a process that you help people with. You walk them through it, and it's not really very difficult, is it?
Well, not for us, Dave. And, I mean, how much do people understand annuities and how much do they understand mutual funds or closed-ended funds or, or ETFs or, all these other instruments or derivatives? Forget it. They would have no idea. But gold is a lot easier and a lot simpler than you would think. But we're there to hold, people's hands the whole way from beginning of transaction till the end. That's what we do. We're gold specialists. But when we're talking about fundamental principles, Dave, of money, fundamental principles of what our money should be, trust and dependable and strong and having a lot of value, that's exactly what gold is. So I think if people just took a step back and realized that they need to do basic fundamental things that have worked for forever, kings own gold, slaves own debt. That's how it's always been. And I would just encourage people to understand that nothing's changed, although the Wall Street persona and the Wall Street machine wants people to stay invested in the banking system for their own interests. Keep it basic, keep it fundamental. And gold has been money for 2,000 or 3,000 years, Dave. I don't know how much more fundamental we can get than that.
You mentioned how kings through history, that's where gold has been deposited. It's been owned by kings, by royalty, by the uber wealthy. And yet, here in America today, in this world, we, average citizens, we have the ability to actually own gold. We have the ability to have our own stockpile, if you will, of gold to safeguard our future. I think that's tremendous.
Yeah, and with Midas Gold Group, Dave, people have a source that they can trust, a source of information. It's a relationship. We buy and sell precious metals every day. Anything that you need or your family needs or your beneficiaries need concerning gold and silver, we could help them with it today and in the future. So there's a great opportunity for people out there. But we all know what's coming, people. We all know what's coming down the road here. And we all know pretty much how this is going to end. And like I said, the question is we don't want to be financially destroyed when all of it comes apart. And that's the basic reasoning why we do this show every week, Dave, to try and get word out that people don't have to risk everything that they have on a hand of poker. And this market right now seems like it's a hand of poker led by people that really have no idea what's going on and that are very delusional. And in my opinion, if you have a nest egg or cash or some money at the bank, I mean, you can't leave it in a situation where people like this are making the decisions, and the market is full of such risk, and there's been so much out there that people don't understand. It's just a big house of cards, and it's unacceptable to just kind of leave it out there and say, well, whatever happens, happens. If the ship goes down, I'm going down with it. Well, that's not acceptable, Dave. And one of the opportunities people have if they're listening to this program is they have a chance to do business with a top gold dealer or people who really care about their clients and work hard for them. And like I said, some people have the advantage of coming in and meeting with us face to face, but we can do it on the phone, 15, 20-minute conversation, and you could know the basic reasons why people should be thinking about gold and the basic products that will give you the benefits of gold. So don't make it harder than what it really needs to be, people, and don't be afraid to make that first step. I think it'll be something that you'll be thanking yourself and your family will be thanking you for years to come. Worst case scenario, Dave, is you got a little bit of gold, and in this scenario, with everything that's going to happen, that is definitely not the worst thing in the world.
We're going to continue our topic, election results and the collapsing economy, part 2, a little bit later in the program. And we'll highlight several other tangible ways to convert your wealth into the security of gold. But first, a reminder that you're listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. And coming up, we're going to look at a specific precious metal that you can use to safeguard your wealth, and that's coming up right after this.
The Fed lied when they initially said inflation was transitory. They knew it wasn't, but didn't want to panic the markets and you, the people. This is why they tried to keep secret the $125 trillion in loans they gave banks around the world. We've seen inflation ramping up, and Midas Gold Group thinks the Fed is way behind the curve with interest rates. Venezuela is the case study when political policies go awry and chaos ensues. It's time to call Midas Gold Group, 805-601-6000. You can add financial privacy and protection from inflation and profit potential to your investments through physical gold and silver. They provide you with the quality service and critical information you need without the pushy salesman. Get your portfolio reset with gold and silver. Call Midas Gold Group for their guide to owning bullion and coins today. 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653 or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Dino, and our topic today is election results and the collapsing economy. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we encourage you to come visit our local office to meet with us in person. For the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, MIDAS, MidasGoldGroup.com. For those of you listening in other cities, just call us directly at 855-322-GOLD. I hope you'll write that down, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. Ken, now we turn to look at a specific precious metal product. And today it's one that we have talked about before, the gold British sovereign. But in light of the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, there may be some added interest in this coin.
Yeah, Dave. I mean, it's a coin that fascinates me. It's the gold British sovereign. It bears the image of the Queen. And anytime there's a change in the crown, paper money is reprinted and coins are reminted with the new sovereign's image. So in this case, King Charles III. So that means that the current design will be replaced, making them limited in supply, and the rule of economics is that limits can obviously add to value, Dave.
I know that you really love collecting gold coins because of their traditional stable value, but I also know that you are a fan of the history behind some of the coins.
Yeah, Dave, and this is one that actually fascinates me. The gold British sovereign has a long and winding history. It's been through it all, so to speak, but over the years, this coin's staying power has proved undeniable. Its collectability has never been higher. It was first struck in 1817, Dave. Its name derives from the original English gold sovereign, last struck over 400 years ago. The new sovereign, Dave, was minted as part of the Great Recoinage Act of 1816. By 1887, all coins would feature the St. George design on the reverse side. When the First World War began, the coin disappeared from circulation, replaced by paper currency. Sounds familiar, right, Dave? Replaced by paper currency.
Yeah.
And it did not return until the demand for the coin rose again until the 1950s, believe it or not, at which point the Royal Mint began production of new sovereigns. Starting in 1979, the British sovereign was issued in proof condition for collectors as well. There have been 5 designs of the Queen, the latest one in 2015 with a new portrait of the Queen. So few coins come with so much history attached, Dave. This is a great coin for any collection, for a student of history, a numismatic enthusiast, or just a person who's looking to be a gold bullion investor.
Ken, this coin is unusual in another way as regards its gold content, right?
Yeah, the British gold sovereign, Dave, is 0.2354 ounces of gold. So that's basically about a quarter ounce of gold. So it's a small coin, which makes it, at least for now, a very affordable gold coin according to its overall cost. Most gold coins are 4/9 pure, so that makes them even more expensive than the gold British sovereign. So with the price of gold being very reasonable and this being a small coin, Dave, people like to spread out their bets a little bit and have a well-diversified gold portfolio. I love the look of it, Dave. It's a great coin. Thanks for bringing it to our attention this week. And it's a great coin for wealth preservation, especially here in the gold market.
It is one that I am proud to own, both in gold and in silver as well, I might mention. And coming up in a moment, we're going to continue our topic of election results and the collapsing economy, part 2, with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. And that's coming up right after this.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka here. Do you have confidence in our government? I don't. So why would you put your full faith and credit in them and the dollar? Do not confuse the dollar, which is only a debt instrument, with actual money. Real money has intrinsic value, such as gold. The dollar is not backed by gold, so you know what that means. Time to call veteran-owned Midas Gold Group. 855-322-GOLD. 855-322-GOLD. Or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Dino, and our topic today is election results and the collapsing economy, part 2. Now, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, you have an advantage because you can actually come and visit our local office and meet with us in person, even see some of the product that we talk about on the air. For the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. For those of you listening in other cities, call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. Call us. Now, let's return to our topic. Part 2 of election results and the collapsing economy. Ken, we have talked a good number of times about how the United States at one point was on the gold standard, and it went off the gold standard into fiat currency. But it occurs to me that we, on a personal basis, we can take our own personal finances, our own personal financial security, and we can move that back to the gold standard, right?
We could have our own little gold standard, right, Dave? You
Yeah.
know, something that's a lot more secure financially, and why not? And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. Sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands, especially when we see what's going on with our administration and our leaders and our central bankers and policy. People say, well, what are we supposed to do about it? Well, there's a lot that we can do about it. We could express our opinion, and we can vote, and we can talk about things that are bothering us, and we can talk about things and demand things that we feel should be different for this country. But we can have our own little gold standard. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. And like I tell people every day, gold in your possession, Dave, is going to be a lot better than leaving all of your money in the markets or in the banking system. And why is that? Because that's what history tells us, and history does matter. And history is going to repeat itself when it comes to countries failing, when it depends on debt, and when it depends on unlimited money printing, just like other civilizations and other superpowers have failed before, when it depends on fiat currency that they just print out of thin air. So yes, why not? Let's protect ourselves. Let's diversify. Everybody out there should be thinking about their own little gold standard.
And it is in this climate that guarding one's financial resources, it becomes even more important.
Like you mentioned, it's extremely important that while we still can, we get some money out of this toxic, corrupt system, and we get it into our own control. Gold you could hold, silver you could hold, gold and silver bars and coins, Dave, inside of your IRA, inside of your retirement account. You had a pension system in the United Kingdom, Dave, that was on the brink of failure 2 weeks ago, and the Bank of England had to come in with printed money. That's not an isolated case. There's got to be pension systems that are going to be in trouble all over the world. All of this is connected. And for people to think that the leaders of this country and the financial situations of the whole world are not connected, they're just as delusional as these people are that are running our country. So I would tell you, that you don't have to be financially destroyed when all of this comes apart, and it will come apart. I don't know if it's going to be a week or a year or 5 years. You still have an opportunity, Dave, as an investor to take some of your risk out of the equation, get some money out of cash, get some money out of the bank, get some money out of the markets, get some money out of your retirement accounts. And instead of being invested in stocks and mutual funds and annuities and money markets and all these other bank paper asset instruments, get the only form of real money that has survived for thousands of years and will continue to do the same over the next few years. Yes, we're talking about, Dave, the boring, gold, the old boring gold, which will be there for you when you need it. And according to its track record, will be worth a lot more in dollars, because it's not that the price of gold goes up, Dave. It's that the value of our paper money goes down. And then the value of the gold reflects that lost value in our paper money.
Ken, I have to tell you that when I receive gold from Midas Gold Group and I open the package and I look at the gold coins and the gold bars, there is nothing boring about it to me. I am thrilled when I actually get to see the physical gold. And so I got to just say, I appreciate the fact that you are there for me, that you are there to answer my questions. You help me make good decisions to safeguard my savings and my investments with gold. And a reminder here, you're listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. And today, our topic is election results and the collapsing economy. Part 2. Ken, I've got one final question for you today. What do you see for the future of gold compared to paper investments that are based on fiat currency?
Well, to say the same thing again, Dave, we expect the same to kind of happen. The paper investments will continue to lose value because you just can't print unlimited money out of thin air and expect its value to hold. And that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to see trillions of dollars more printed over the next few years. And obviously that will cause a direct effect on our money, which is it's going to lose value. Our fiat money, Federal Reserve notes, just look at your cash, people. It says right on it, Federal Reserve notes. It doesn't say money, it doesn't say dollars. It says Federal Reserve notes, notes that are backed by nothing. Gold, on the other hand, Dave, it's limited. It's a medium of exchange. It's a store of value. You could hold it yourself. It's been money for thousands of years, and we would expect more of the same. As the dollar loses value, as our paper markets and our economy blow up, gold will continue to make up for that lost purchasing power. It will continue to increase in buying power over the next few years. And there is a chance, Dave, that gold could be $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 an ounce in the next 5, 6, 7 years because of the destruction that is on its way when it comes to stocks, the economy, bonds, and even real estate. And the price of gold, Dave, will reflect that.
And I will say it again, it's advice like this as to why I have moved a good portion of my savings and my investments over to physical gold and into a gold IRA with your guidance there at Midas Gold Group. I got to say, my family feels a lot more secure financially because of it. So thank you.
That's what it's all about, Dave. I'm glad you had a good experience.
That is going to bring us to the end of our time together here on the Gold Standard today with Ken Russo, brought to you by Midas Gold Group. And a reminder, opinions given are not intended to be specific to your investment strategy, but rather general information to give you a better understanding of investing in precious metals. For answers to your questions, call Midas Gold Group at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. And the website is MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. The Midas Gold Group is proud to be America's #1 veteran-owned gold dealer, supporting veterans' causes with a portion of profits donated to the Wounded Warriors Project and the Semper Fi Fund. So your investment in your future is also an investment in the future of those who have bravely served the cause of freedom. Again, the number to call to speak directly with Midas Gold Group is 855-322-GOLD. 855-322-GOLD. Ken, thank you again for your time today.
Yeah, my pleasure, Dave. Talk to you soon.
I'm Dave Dino, inviting you to join us again next week at this same time for another edition of The Gold Standard.
The Gold Standard was brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.